You think we're gonna beat all these games?
Hey, Austin.
Hey, what's up?
You need to put up a trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning on this episode, because we're gonna talk about Zelda. Oh god, why am I in third person? I was like, why is the game suddenly awful? Oh, there we go.
Oh, wait. Why am I playing a terrible game?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, now it's a good game again.
Oh my god, it's a thing!
Oh, ew!
It's the
in the pool.
It's the trash room stuff. Yeah, you don't want to go in the poo in this level.
All those big old poo shoots. You see that? Yeah.
Poop shoots?
Yep.
Look at those big anuses. So, let's talk about Zelda for a second. In between episodes, Vaughn asked me what...
A tough question.
He asked me a tough
Two
question.
questions.
He asked me what the best Zelda game is. And what I had to respond with was, well, are we talking about what I think the best Zelda game is, as in my favorite? Or are we talking about what I think objectively is the best? Like, the best. And then we had to define best. Oh
Not in the
god.
poo.
Oh god.
Not in the
Oh
poo.
god. It's deep.
Not in the poo.
It's deep poo sea. Starring Samuel L. Jackson. That's a terrible movie.
Is it?
It's so bad.
What's it called?
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Jaws type movie with like a giant rogue shark that wants to kill everybody, but they're in an underwater research base.
Oh, that sounds like the worst place to be.
Oh, dude, it's really scary actually. Even though the animation on the shark is atrocious,
Okay.
it's still scary just because sharks. Anyways.
Oh, you don't, and you especially don't like sharks.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, especially when they're like 30 feet long, and they want to kill.
Yeah.
So, we had to define best, what we meant by that. And basically what we decided is that best means, like, what we objectively think is the best designed Zelda game.
As a separate answer to favorite.
As a separate answer to favorite. Do I just not have, like, a breath meter underwater? Can I just swim and poo for as long as I want?
Dude, yeah, there's so much oxygen in poo. Oh, no.
Oh, here it
29,
is.
28, 27.
I don't know if I got all those.
I don't know that you did.
So, now we're going to talk about what we think is objectively the best Zelda game.
Oh, okay. That's what we're going to go with first.
Well, I guess it'd be a shorter answer to tell you what my favorite Zelda game is.
Okay. But that could be like a little treat at the end.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, so best. Well, first of all, for both best and favorite, for me, it's between like 3 games.
Okay.
And I have a feeling it's probably the 3 most commonly... Oh, how do I get in there? 3 most commonly contested, which would be Link to the Past, Ocarina, and Wind Waker. And maybe I guess maybe not Wind Waker. It's gotten a lot more love recently.
And initially it got love.
Completely panned. So, oh, there's a pulse cannon thing down here. Let's sync a little bit. How do I sync? It's weird. You don't sync unless you're moving like forward or backwards.
That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, here's a switchy switch. That's what we're looking for. Oh, come on. What is this new mechanics late game? Trying to innovate here. I'm kind of like losing my train of thought here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is a very like thought-heavy discussion.
Maybe we need to bring back the spirit tracks.
Maybe no. What I will say is I'm like a big timeline person for Zelda.
You're a big timeline person.
I'm like way into it. I was way into it before it was like made official. You know, I was following it when it was all theories.
Did you have your own theory?
I did for a
You
while.
Subscribed to a certain theory?
Yeah, I subscribed to a certain theory, and I loved to speculate on it with my Swedish friend, Connie. If you're watching this, you're a cool dude. And yeah, we used to like send Word documents back and forth to each other with like stuff that we analyzed in the games that we thought, oh my god, this is a maze. Oh god, is there something down there?
You're getting blasted. Not anymore.
I don't know what that was. If that was fall damage or... Oh, what is this? Challenge point?
Dude, it's a poo-colored challenge point.
Yeah, it's like gold. I think that's just the light reflecting off of what was normally silver.
Maybe it's just baked in day-old
So I'm
poo.
really building up a lot of suspense here for no reason about this whole Zelda discussion. The first Zelda game I ever played was Ocarina of Time, so it's really easy. God damn it! It's really easy for me to say that that's my favorite because I have such a special attachment to it. And it also would be really easy for me to say that it's the best, because like what I didn't say is we're kind of defining best also as what we believe to be the most quintessentially
like the pinnacle
Zelda,
yeah.
like what we believe the definition of Zelda to be. And for me, Ocarina of Time does a really good job of that. But, you know, people who grew up with the original or Link to the Past, and Zelda is a 2D affair that migrated to 3D, you know, they would feel very differently about that. And that's totally understandable. But going beyond 2D versus 3D, I think what Zelda is supposed to capture is that, like, you are a hero, and you are, like, tasked with doing something that at first seems difficult, and then you kind of, like, become confident as you go along.
Okay.
For me, that's, like, a big part of the experience. And some people might not think about it that way at all.
Okay. Awakening as the hero.
Yeah,
like
for
the hero.
Yeah, for example, like you know, in Link to the Past or Ocarina, you start out at like a weaker state. Okay, there's the key, and that allows you to kind of like learn the ropes and like kind of like learn your place in the world. And then as you get farther along in the game, you have more abilities. You know, in classic like Metroidvania kind of fashion, where now you can access these new areas and you feel more like adept. And so when you get to those later dungeons,
you have a bigger arsenal of stuff.
You get to those later dungeons where like
skills.
if the game started with those, you would think it was really difficult, but because you've like learned how the game works, you're like, yeah, I can tackle this. And like that's a big part of the Zelda experience for me. And I think it's a big part. Oh, I don't like fighting them underwater. I think it's a big part of the experience for most players, and they just might not realize it.
Okay, I thought that was a huge enemy for a
Oh,
second.
I would have been.
That would have been
I would
bad.
have been spooked heavily. Okay, here we go. Get some full air here, and it sucks that you can't see the air meter until it gets low.
Yeah.
That's very spoopy.
Very.
I guess it's pretty
spoopy.
realistically though. Like, you don't know you're running out of air until you're running out of air.
Yep.
You don't really know how long you're going to be able to hold your breath. So, yeah, I think Ocarina does that really well. I think it gives you a sense of, like,
Storm pooper.
confidence as you go along.
Okay.
It has a good, like, ramp up in, like, challenge factor. And Link to the Past does it really well, too. And then, like, the trick with games like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker that came after Ocarina is that they suffer from this thing that a lot of people talk about where it's like they're just trying to recreate things that Ocarina did. Like, they're trying to do everything in, like, the same style, and, you know, you could argue about, is this like a false wall or something? What's going on there? Oh, I guess it opens when I hit those switches. Let me recharge my jetpack here.
So, do you think? Are you saying?
It's hard to say
Okay.
like Wind Waker is the best
Objectively.
because
Yeah.
it's like, well, if you say Wind Waker is the best, you might as well just say Ocarina is the best because it's like in the same style. But I don't know. I don't really subscribe to that. Oh god, I have to go like down. Ugh. This is like Twine all over again. Ooh, there's some disruptor ammo down here.
I mean, the best gun in the game.
The best gun in the game, yeah. How do I hit this while I'm flying? It's so difficult.
Oh, you did it.
Okay. That's one.
So, what's your favorite then?
My favorite? I think it's pretty safe to say that Ocarina is my favorite.
Okay.
Because it's the first one I played. It's the first really game in that whole style that I played.
Yeah.
Like one of the first like big sprawling adventure. Like it was just so many firsts for me.
Yep.
It just kind of rocked my world, you know? It was the first like huge game that I played. It was the first game where you could like explore a world and like get oriented within that world. And that was a huge thing for me. Like, you play the game, and you go to these places, and then if you ever like revisit any of those places, like you know where they are, and that was super cool.
Okay.
Like to be standing in like a random spot of Hyrule Field, and be like, oh yeah, that's over there.
Yep.
Like it felt
Really can feel at home all of a sudden.
yeah,
Like,
and it felt it just made it feel like a real world.
Yeah.
Like whereas like a side-scrolling game, you don't know where something is.
Yeah, I suppose it's
you
just
know?
one way forward.
It's to the left or to the right.
Yeah.
And you know,
What keeps shooting you?
I don't know. I think these force fields are like going down occasionally in this.
Oh yeah, there's a guy way down.
This guy's like shooting me through it. So that's a big part of it for me too. Is like the world aspect.
Okay.
And I think that's why 3D Zeldas are much more attractive to me than the 2D ones.
Okay.
But you know, Link to the Past being top down, like you still have a sense for where everything is, but you don't get that sense of like looking at stuff in the distance.
Yeah.
You know, like as you're approaching it, because of the way the perspective in the
like,
game works.
Yeah, seeing like Death Mountain off in the on the horizon.
That's super freaking cool.
Yeah.
I love that, and it's just a different way to look at it. And Link, I like Link to the Past in just a different way than I like Ocarina. But for me, the wild card is kind of Majora's Mask, because I love Majora's Mask.
Okay.
I think it's such an interesting game. But then if you try to argue that it's like quintessentially Zelda, there's a lot of...
And it's not supposed to be.
There's a lot of caveats that come with that, yeah. Because it's like... Well, you could say it's quintessentially Zelda in that... it's like... It's kind of dark.
Yeah.
Or it's quintessentially Zelda in that you have to talk to a lot of people in order to figure out what to do, like you did in Zelda 2. Or you could say that it's quintessentially Zelda because it's challenging and not super straightforward, which is how some people feel about it. You know, like the first Zelda, like you had no idea where to go, and it was not clear-cut at all, and you had to just figure it out with trial and error, and it was more about exploration. So, yeah, there's so many things you could argue about what is Zelda. But I think instead of arguing about it, I think it's what Nintendo would want is for everybody to have kind of their own version of that.
Yeah.
And that's why they make every Zelda game a little bit different. Not because they don't know what to do or they don't know what fans want. It's just because they know that everybody kind of feels differently about it. So I think that's really cool.
And Tomorrow on the Boys.
Tomorrow on the Boys.
My turn?
Maybe we'll keep this Zelda discussion going. Yeah, because I didn't ever really
Also
give some definitive answers.
You have one answer.
Well, yeah, I didn't really give my objective answer.
Yeah.
But I kind of touched on the fact that I think that it's kind of impossible to give that answer. But I'll still give that answer. Tomorrow on the Boys.
Tomorrow on the Boys. More
Link-scussion.
More start button tech
Yeah.
as well. Join us.